What up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Durable by Design. I'm here with, as always, Christopher Barnett.
What's up?
We're gonna be talking about today. What are we talking about, Crispy?
How to have the best possible trade show presence if you are attending as an exhibitor.
So, goodness. Right, turn off all the alarms. Both guys slaps at the same time. Okay, so we're gonna be talking about how to not suck at events. And I'm gonna say in general, this applies to app partners and in any ecosystem and service companies in any ecosystem. I believe in frameworks. So we're gonna talk today about how to not waste your money and how to create and this field events are going to be more important, not less important. They're going to be more important, not less important with AI. So get good at it now, or you're behind. So let's talk about it. So I have 10. I think I have 10 or 11 things, and we'll just run down the list. I just posted about this. It's gonna come out late, so that's when I'm looking for my post. That I thought I can't think about things unless they're right in front of me. I've thought about them. Okay, so thing number one is do not optimize for demos. So at an event, do not optimize for demos, and there's a lot of reasons why. And one of the you will, no matter what organization you are, somebody in the org. In fact, most of the people in the org are going to say, "We gotta land this many deals." They're going to say that, and they're not wrong. And they're freaking wrong. Crispy.
Yeah.
Why do you think so?
I totally agree with you. And like I think a lot of people have this fictional idea that I think here's what it is. People want to have a build, design, sell methodology going into trade shows. And they build the solution, they design the solution, and then when you're at the trade show, you sell it there. So that's not what your purpose is of going to a trade show. Like, you're going to waste a whole bunch of time and energy and resources building and designing this thing that doesn't need to exist until you're actually at the final stage of like your lead journey, your sales process. The goal is to have the demo and that build process happen after you convert them at the trade show. Like, your purpose being there is to have people look at you and say, what are they? Like, what are they doing? What's that? That thing? Like, whoa.
Yeah.
And you can't quantify those types of metrics directly in the sense of we landed this many leads because of that or whatever it is. But if people are telling you you have the best booth, like that person's eating that, like, whoa, those are the things you want to hear.
You want to optimize for, I call them WTF moments.
Yes.
Where people say, what the freak? Both long distance and short distance. And that will... Like a lagging indicator that you have the best booth is number of demos booked, and you will get more demos booked if you do. And we have a WTF framework. If you do the WTF framework, which you'll hear more about here, one piece is we care about demos, but we do not optimize for them. Optimize for experience, not for a transaction. Number two, pick a theme and go full send. Mm-hmm. So this is part of the WTF framework. When you pick your framework, and you must pick a theme. And it doesn't even matter if it makes sense. Everybody has a theme. Everybody is dressed up, and there's a thematic thing that you do in the way you talk, in the way you're messaging, in the way you're dressed, and it will just slap more, and it will give the impression. So pick a theme and go full send. Mm-hmm. Crispy knows this. He went to SaaS Doc with us at Supered, and we went with a partner that had this bee, and they dressed up as
beekeepers.
Beekeepers, and they had hats that said "Get Sticky," and they have that. That's where this hat came from, and it was black and yellow, and there's a theme of bees and honey, and it tastes good, and you relate to something. It allows you to communicate value because you're doing a metaphor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We had literal honey sticks at our booth that we were just like giving to people and like eating.
It's like, it's just crazy. Which goes to number three. This is another part of the WTF framework. Number three, uniforms. You wear uniforms, head to toe, no exception.
Yeah. And
it's very specific. Head, there's got to be a hat everybody wears. There's got to be shoes, and they all match. It's a uniform. And it's not necessarily your regular logo. It's a uniform that's thematically true. And it should be a bit boisterous. And it should, and there's just, everyone's wearing it all the time.
Yeah. There is no one that comes even close to the way that we do this. I've never seen anyone do it like this, especially if you think about like Inbound 2025 is on the horizon. Let's think about Inbound 2024 and how each day was a different theme and different, costumes, if you will, and different hats and shoes. And
you couldn't help. Well, you experienced us. You weren't there, right? So, I mean, you were there. You experienced us, and it was one of these things. If you weren't talking to us, it was like, it's not because you didn't see us. Like, it was because you deliberately weren't talking to us. So it allows you to have so much better conversation. So if people don't walk up and talk to you, it's almost always because they don't want to. And it's not because they don't see you, which is a different conversation.
And the value in optimizing for the experience with that use case is you see downstream impact years later because of that. So as an example, we have our sales team closing deals like even last week from people that said, oh, like we saw you at Inbound 2024, and their deals are closing like 8 months later. It's like, so the brand credibility. And one of the first things we ask in our sales cycle is, what do you know about Super? Have you heard about us? Like, how did you find us? Stuff like that. And like, oh, I see you at Inbound. I see you at trade shows. It's like, you guys are the crazy people that wear the full tuxedo that's pink with the canes and the hats. I'm like, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah. It does way more than you think it does. That way. So number 4, when you run a event, you assign roles. I put it's an Ocean's 11. And the point being is everybody has a job. And it does not mean like going in costume and not optimizing for demos does not mean you aren't strict with standards and guidelines. In fact, I'd say the other way around. Yes. It must be impressive. So there is someone to hype. There is someone to go into the crowd. There is someone that's directing traffic. There is someone to do demos. Yeah. And they all have jobs and roles because you're creating experiences. Yeah.
One of the things that I think is one of the most important tactical pieces of this is you always need wranglers. Always need wranglers. Because there's a lot of people that will walk by your booth and things like that. It's your job to wrangle people.
Yeah. And when you see people have the WTF, and you be like, hey, like I see you looking at the booth.
Like as an example, what I would do is when someone locks eyes with me, like I'm pointing to you, like, and you're going to come talk to me until like, it's going to be uncomfortable. Like we're talking whether you want to or not. Like it's that level of like tenacity to make sure that you're successful. And then on top of that, so your wranglers, communicators, demoers, just making sure that everything is cohesive together as a team. And another thing that we would like from a tactical standpoint is you always have a huddle at the beginning of each day and the end of each day, covering the learning to drive the success of the next event or the next day. Yes. So as an example, most people that want to design their demos ahead of time or their talk track ahead of time, like there's a 0% chance that it's going to be what you actually say to people on site. It doesn't work like that. And so what you do is you huddle in the morning, cover your learnings, and you rate the day 1 to 10. At the end of the day, you do the same exact thing. That drives the success of the next day and the messaging and how you cater to your audience.
Truth. So this gets to this as and we've done this this is a learning we now have because we've done complicated thematic portions to events. And this will be number 6. I think it was number 5 is huddle at the beginning of the day. Number 6 is have one CTA. One call to action. It's so easy to get cute with these things, and you're like, "Oh, I'm going to do this big thing," and hey, scan this QR code, and you enter our raffle. And after you do this, if you post it on LinkedIn, you get that. We're going to track that. And by the way, you can win. And you've lost them, and it's like, what's the CTA, and what's going to grab their attention, and you can only. It's like currency. You have one thing you can ask them to do.
Yeah. It's singular journey, right? Don't make it confusing. You're trying to take them from here to there via the experience, and that's it.
That's it. Number 6, boosts. Boosts are fine. Hype is better. And the point being is when you're running a booth, you're actually running a mini event. And you can take that to its full extent where you turn your booth into a mini event like we have in the past. Inbound no longer allows that, so we're sorry for all those that want to have that idea now. We have regulated you out of that. It's like the people who got coal first before it got regulated. They just like, no, you can't do it.
Yeah, I have a story for this one from a recent event that we did. So we went to a conference in Austin. I won't say the name of it. Our point of contact was kind of dealing with lots of different things between providers, and we had a claw machine that was supposed to show up the day before we even arrived, which is typically 2 days before the conference. And claw machine does not show up. So we're day one on site, no claw machine. The claw machine finally arrives at like noon on the first day when everyone's in session, stuff like that. And we asked them, hey, can you hold it until 12:30? Because that's when all the sessions break out. And they wheel the claw machine through the entire event. And we created a whole bunch of, I had a speaker and I was playing our custom song that we created. I was throwing out money, created the hype. And that's the experience that you want to generate. Like, you got to capitalize on the opportunities, because it's someone seeing a claw machine from a distance is like, yeah, whatever. But someone seeing a claw machine wheeled through the entire event as I'm throwing money at people, that's hype.
Yeah. There's and the more professional the event gets, the harder it is to capitalize on those things. But you got to create your own hype, or you're going to be forgettable. Yep. So what are you doing to create it? This is number 8 is 90% of ROI happens before you even start the event. Now, this is something we're trying to work on internally, and we know this to be true. We just optimize for our experience so much. Yeah. But there's a reality of getting people at the event, people knowing you're going. So we actually do a pretty good job of because we post a lot of content prior. We'll say, hey, we're going, you're going to be here, we're doing this. It's really, really useful. But you need who do you know, and targeted DMs of people that are going. Yeah. Do you already have conversations booked, knowing because you're going there? And so there's a lot of, hey, what's the ROI of this event? The ROI of the event is a piss poor question. It's Are we going to create an experience? And then the ROI of any event is the ROI you make of it. And every event is a good event if you run it well. And I really do think that. Because even when we went to Austin, it didn't have a lot of people necessarily, but we executed well and have revenue from it already.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think taking it a step further when you're considering ROI as well, it's ahead of time, putting your eggs in the right basket for your event presence. So as an example, one of the things that we did not do for this event was have an after party by design. We chose not to do that because we knew that our booth was going to be the best and everyone was going to talk to us during the event. Therefore, we did not need an after party. Whereas inbound is very different. We're we have the best after party and fucking everyone goes to that. In that sense of the ROI piece starts ahead of time because you have to build the hype for the experience and then execute on the experience on site. And then that's your full cycle of return of your investment. Yep. Starting from the get-go.
Yeah. I don't have, I don't have this as a thing. I'm gonna go off script for a second. It is, after parties, should be more than drinking alcohol. And I see everyone I've been to, I actually have not been to one that's not this way. But it is a party with a bunch of people at it talking to each other in a really loud space, and you just end up talking and drinking. Yep. I actually think those are bad. That's not a party. That's a bunch of people that are trying to get free booze. What is really good is when you need a stage and you need a spectacle. You're not doing a party, you're doing a show. And I think it's really important. Even the event, the booth, it should all come, you're running a show. I think that's a helpful mindset to be in.
Yeah. I think that's, to me, that falls in the same category as experience.
Yes.
Or a party's not an experience. It's if you're staging something, yes, you're building the experience.
Yeah, what we did, right? Not does it work? Who knows? But what we did is we did a whole album, and we created our own music, and we had our own DJ, and we had dance party, and we had a dunk tank, and we had all these things that create an experience that are all. We had our $50,000 giveaway, and all these things happen. Okay, so as we done is, and I'll go through these quick. Is number 9 is 2-tier swags. You got to realize, and you can't get rid of them. Christopher Barnett is a swag vulture, and you're never going to stop him from taking the socks. And if they're free, he's going to take his t-shirt. you need to have swag for vultures, and you need to have swag for the closings. And so create scarcity, but you need both. Cheap swag, socks, stickers, stress balls, and then the real swag that's kept for the CTA you have.
Yep.
Number 10 is we have this 30-year-old micro event, and this works really well. And so I think micro event, and this is difficult to do based on where you're at, but like if you have coffee, so this way to keep people coming, it's an event where I have coffee in the morning, every single morning, and it's just no place. And so if you can do a micro events, they're so powerful, even though it's a customer dinner or not just, I said the show. I mean, like micro events are so useful.
Yeah, I'll say that was one of the most impactful things that I learned at our recent trade show attendance was your booth placement does not matter. If you have coffee every single morning, people will seek you out. People seek out coffee and therefore will seek you out. Like that was one of the most tactical things I learned from this experience.
And last, I'll really hit on this, and we do surround bound here. Every event or show, we talk about show, is if you're not already a media brand, you better make yourself a media brand. So we talk about what's the ROI of the event. Some of it is it should create media before. It should create a butt ton of media during that you can then repurpose to show off. So we're a good use case. If you saw us on Southbound, you see the SaaS stock is we took pictures, we took selfies, we took memes of ourselves. We can even interview different attendees sometimes, you do real stories, and that then cascades, and it creates this feeling of, and you take over the internet or your audience, all they see is you. And that's part of the ROI is not at the event. It's what you create. It's what you communicate to your audience while you're at the event. It's not just the people there. Mm-hmm. Okay. It creates a lot. This is a lot of discipline. You must have a framework. We will be giving one out eventually. We may talk about it at Surge at some point. Anything else you want to add, Crispy?
We may or may not be having a luchador fight at Inbound.
It's probably may not at this point, but it's
it's may or may not.
It's may or may not. We have thought about it. So,
We've thought about it.
Okay, everybody, stay awesome. Keep doing it big and never stop believing. Adios, everybody.